I'm going to say something that's going to make a few people slightly uncomfortable, but I'm okay with that because I care more about protecting the meaning of this career than being liked by the loudest people in it. There is a bro culture wave in life insurance right now that has turned our industry into a highlight reel, and it has made selling final expense look like a hustle instead of a profession. You've seen it, the clips with the music, the screenshots, the rented lifestyle energy, the join my team and make 40 grand this month promises, and the vibe that says the whole point of this business is money and clout. Here's what bothers me about that. Final expense is not an audience of wealthy people building legacies and stacking assets. That's not who we serve. We serve seniors living on a fixed income, on Social Security. A lot of them don't have a big savings cushion. A lot of them are choosing between groceries, prescriptions, and keeping the lights on. A lot of them are tired, lonely, skeptical, and overwhelmed by how many calls they get every day. They're not filling out an insurance form because they want to invest. They're filling it out because they're trying to handle something heavy, the end of their life, with dignity. They don't want their kids scrambling to pay for a funeral, and they don't want to be remembered as the burden. So when I watch very young, brand new agents get recruited into life insurance with a money first mindset and then get handed these senior leads like it's a game, I'm not thinking, wow, what a grinder. I'm thinking, this is how our industry loses the trust of the very people we're supposed to protect. Welcome back to Final Expense Telesales. My name is Dana Neeson. If you're just now finding this channel, I'm the owner of Empower Life Group. We are a telesales agency specializing in simplified issue life. My job is to help you have stronger, more sophisticated sales conversations, create great agents, and build unstoppable leaders. Now, I want to be clear about this from the start so nobody twists my words. I am not anti-money. I love winning. I want agents to get paid. I want single parents to change their lives. I want people to buy homes. I want you to have freedom, and I want you to be proud of your work. But you do not get to build your income on the backs of vulnerable people while acting like you're some kind of hero for Instagram or TikTok. If the culture trains you to see a senior as a commission check, that isn't ambition, that's a problem. So today I want to talk about what's happening, why it's dangerous, how it shows up on the call, and what it looks like to build success in this industry without losing your character. So the first thing I want to talk about is what bro culture actually is in life insurance. My definition of bro culture in life insurance isn't just young guys being young guys. It's not even the age that bothers me. I've met 20-year-olds who are more professional than a lot of 40-year-olds. The problem is the value system that's being marketed as the standard. Bro culture is when the loudest thing about you is money. It's when the context is all flex and no substance. When your entire recruiting pitch is look what I have instead of look who we can help. And when winning becomes defined by what you can show off rather than what you can sustain. It creates this weird ecosystem where people are rewarded for being loud, quick, and aggressive, and nobody is rewarded for being patient, skilled, ethical, and consistent. And because social media rewards the extremes, the algorithm simply just doesn't push, here's how to properly explain a graded plan to 74-year-old with COPD, right? The algorithm pushes, I'm 19, I'm a CEO, join my downline, holding their Louis Vuitton luggage. It pushes the exaggerated income claims, the big energy, the party clips, the status. The industry gets marketed like a shortcut, and then everybody acts surprised when it attracts shortcut people. So if you're really honest with yourself, when you recruit someone with the promise of fast money, you're also recruiting their impatience. You're recruiting their entitlement. You're recruiting the part of them that wants results without the work. And final expense is not forgiving to that personality because our client base is not sitting around waiting to be closed. They are waiting to be respected. There's also structural incentive that makes this worse. And I'm going to say this carefully because when organizations are built more around recruiting than around developing skilled producers, there's always going to be a big churn problem. People get brought in fast. They get trained just enough to sell something. Don't worry about your numbers, don't worry about anything else, and then the culture celebrates the top line numbers without paying attention to what happens after the sale, like persistency, placement, chargebacks. complaints, and the reputation we're creating in the marketplace. If you need proof that this kind of income claim hype becomes a problem, I mean, the FTC sent a cease and desist letter to a 3-letter IMO in December of 2021 regarding unlawful earnings misrepresentations tied to social media claims. And I'm not saying that to start a war with any other company. I'm saying it because the bigger a company gets, if you don't have a good handle on your culture, it just turns into a life of its own, and you have all these people that give the company itself a bad name when I don't really think the company intended it for it to go that way in the first place. But highlighting the broader issue is when recruiting engines become just income hype, it creates the exact culture I'm talking about. The FTC doesn't just send letters for fun. And I know since then they have changed the way that things are posted and the income claims have changed, but it still doesn't change what social media is pushing and what everybody's saying. So the next thing I want to talk about is the final expense client base, the way nobody else talks about it. Because if you don't understand the population, you're going to sell wrong even if you have the best script. Final expense is a dignity sale. It's a relief sale. It's a please don't leave my family with a mess sale. This is not the same thing as selling something to a high-income professional who's shopping for investments and wants to optimize their returns, although that can be sold wrong too. But our clients are usually not trying to maximize, they're trying to survive without becoming a burden. They're sitting at home, they're watching the news, they're dealing with their own health issues, they're watching their friends and their family pass away, and in the back of their mind, they're thinking, what happens when it's my turn? A lot of them don't say that out loud because it's depressing, but it's there. And the reason they fill out the form is often very simple: fear mixed with love. They love their family and they're afraid they won't have the money to pay for it. And the reason I'm so protective about this and passionate about it is because this population is easy to take advantage of if you're transactional. If all you see is a lead sheet, you can very easily steamroll someone who's confused. You can talk fast, you can overcomplicate, you could scare them, you can pressure them. Yeah, you could get an application, but that doesn't mean you did right by them. That's the difference between selling and serving. A lot of seniors have been hit with so many calls that they have a hair trigger for pressure. They're already suspicious, they've already been lied to, they've already had their information sold over a dozen times, and they don't know which of us are real. So when you show up with your bro energy, talking too fast, pushing too hard, and treating their hesitation like a challenge to win, you're confirming their worst beliefs about this industry. That's why you'll hear them say things like, I don't want to get scammed, or how did you get my number, or I'm tired of all these calls, or they just go quiet and give you these non-words like, okay, because they're trying to decide if you're safe. And if the only thing you know how to do in that moment is to keep pushing, you lose them. And it's not because you're a bad person, it's because you didn't understand the emotional context of the call, which comes from the person that recruited you into the business. And so the next part is how this transactional recruiting creates transactional selling. And the truth is, the way you recruit someone is the way they're going to sell. If you recruit them with integrity and standards, they're going to sell with integrity and standards. If you recruit them with hype and fast money promises, they're going to sell with hype and fast money pressure. You don't get to plant one seed and expect a different harvest. And a lot of very young agents are coming into this with the life experience to recognize what they're hearing in a senior's voice. They don't know what it sounds like when someone is embarrassed about money. They don't know what it sounds like when someone is lonely and just wants to talk. They don't know what it sounds like when someone is proud and would rather go without than admit that they're struggling. So they interpret everything through the lens of the only thing they've been trained to focus on: handle the objection and close. That's why the same objections repeat like clockwork at the end of the call, especially after you give price. Well, we just have to make sure you get qualified. We just have to make sure you get approved. It's not because our seniors are stubborn. It's because the agent didn't earn the right to get there. They didn't do discovery deep enough. They didn't get to the stakes or establish the true need and urgency and true ownership of the decision. So you hear these objections: that's too expensive, I want to think about it, I need to talk to someone, I found it cheaper somewhere else. And that's not the problem, it's the symptom. They're the smoke, And the fire happened earlier in the conversation when the agent was racing towards the application instead of building clarity. So what the dollar sign mindset sounds like on a call, and we can get really practical here because I want you to be able to check yourself. When someone sees a senior as a dollar sign, the call feels like momentum without connection. It's fast, polished, it has really good words, but it doesn't have presence. There's no breathing room. There's no listening. There's like a subtle energy of let's hurry up so I can get you qualified and I can get paid. So the agent talks, the senior gives short answers, the agent keeps talking, the senior gets quieter, then the agent asks health questions, drops the price like it's the finish line, and the senior either panics or shuts down or does it just so they can get an approval. And when we live in this world where we're trying to convince, our prospect feels pressure because now it's not about clarity, it's about persuasion. When we can create curiosity instead of urgency, that's what starts to change everything. Because most of the time, the objection at the end of the call is not actually about the price, right? It's about fear. Fear of making the wrong decision or being embarrassed about money or being manipulated or committing to something and regretting it. A professional can hold space for that fear and guide someone through it. A transactional agent tries to bulldoze it and just wants to call the next lead. And that's why you can have two agents with the same script and wildly different results. One agent is just simply trying to get paid. The other agent is trying to help someone make a responsible decision. Our prospects can feel which one you are. What we should be building and celebrating is what actually works long-term in final expense, because this is an industry that can get twisted. The real flex in final expense is not a commission screenshot. It's persistency, right? It's keeping your client on the books because you built around their budget. It's getting referrals because the family says this agent treated my mom with respect. It's being able to sleep at night because you didn't pressure someone who didn't need it, or replace the policy where they were in a perfectly good position, but you misled them down the wrong path. And if you're an agency owner or a leader, I'm gonna say something you might not want to hear. If you build your culture on hype and recruiting, you will attract the wrong people and you will spend your life putting out fires. You'll have chargebacks, drama, roll-up debt, turnover, all the he said, she said team issues, agents who disappear the second it gets hard because you recruited them into a fantasy instead of a standard. If you want a stable agency, you have to build a culture where people are proud to be professionals, where winning includes character, and where training includes how to slow down with a senior and still lead the call. Where asking uncomfortable questions is celebrated, not avoided. Where the goal isn't to close everyone, but to serve the right people with excellence. So what do we do about this? Because I'm not here to complain. I'm here to build. And the first thing is we change what we celebrate. If all we celebrate is production, the culture will always drift towards transactional selling. Production matters, but it's not the only metric that matters. We should be celebrating skill. We should be celebrating consistency. We should be celebrating people who show up and get coached and put in the work, and celebrating agents who disqualify ethically instead of forcing a sale. We have momentum makers on our team every Monday that we celebrate exactly that. I think we also need to raise the training standard. Not here's a script, go figure it out, but real communication training on tonality, pace, pausing, listening, questions that create emotional certainty, how to prevent objections before price even comes out of your mouth. Because if the objection shows up at the end, 9 times out of 10, the mistake happened way earlier in the call. I think we also need to teach people to challenge politely, not pressure aggressively. There's a difference. A professional can say, that's actually good news that you have savings. I'm curious, if you already have money set aside, what had you thinking life insurance might be the better option when you filled this out, right? That's not pressure, it's clarity. It's helping client defend their position so you can get to the truth. And if there's no need, you bless them and move on, because your confidence doesn't require you to force every sale. We find the right people. I think we also need to build leaders who can hold standards with empathy. That's the missing piece in the bro culture. Bro culture loves intensity, but it lacks emotional intelligence. Real leadership is steady, consistent, doesn't need posture or proof. It doesn't need to perform. It coaches people into a better version of themselves, and it protects the client while still helping the agent win. So here's my message, and I'm saying it with love and with firmness. If you're in this business and you're treating seniors like dollar signs, you're in the wrong business. And if you're recruiting people into this business with nothing but money hype and lifestyle bait, you're training them to become transactional sellers who will burn out, create chargebacks, and damage the trust of the people we serve. Final expense is sacred work when it's done right. It's one of the few sales careers where you can make a great income and genuinely help people who actually need it. But we don't get to keep that privilege if we don't protect the meaning behind it. If you want to win without losing your character, if you want structure, mentorship, and real training, and if you want to be part of a culture that treats seniors with dignity while still producing at a high level, then you're my kind of person. If you want more information on how to join Empower Life Group, all of my contact information is in the description below. We do group opportunity calls every single week, and I look forward to seeing you on one. Have a fantastic workday, and I'll see you next time.